If you've ever rebuilt your life from the ruins someone else left behind, if you've ever carried a wound so quiet the world called it imagination, then don't blink. Because what you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's the kind of truth people only admit in the dark. And trust me, once you step into this story, you won't be leaving until the very last word. And hey, before we dive deep, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this story with someone who needs to remember their own worth. Let's begin. The first morning in my new home felt unreal. Not magical, not dreamy, just unnervingly clean. Like a place with no past, waiting for me to breathe some history into it. Sunlight slid across untouched floors, over sealed moving boxes, across the single borrowed mug I'd placed beside the sink. The kind of stillness that made you wonder if your life had finally learned how to be quiet. And then the gravel outside cracked. Not loud, just slow, deliberate, confident. A sound that doesn't ask permission. I glanced at my front camera. A woman stepped out of a dusty blue rental car, brown hair tucked into a messy bun, a small suitcase rolling behind her like it knew its way. My estranged sister? After 14 years of silence, there she was, walking toward my porch like she owned the air around it. No hesitation. No pause, no guilt. Just a familiar entitlement in the set of her shoulders. Her name was Mira, 2 years older than me, though she'd always carried herself like she was decades wiser. And she didn't knock. The next day after I bought the house, she showed up. I grew up in a home where silence wasn't peace, it was strategy. Where words were measured not by truth, but by impact. And Mira? She learned early that the world would bend before she ever had to. If she sighed, everything shifted. If she frowned, our mother rushed to soothe her. If she broke something, I apologized. If she cried, the whole house turned into a rescue mission built around her tears. Me? I learned to make myself quiet, small, invisible enough that my existence didn't create ripples she'd have to step around. The first time I truly understood my place, I was 10. Mira had misplaced $40 she'd been saving for a school carnival. She walked into the kitchen, palms trembling, breath shaky, eyes glossed with the perfect amount of vulnerability. I tried saying I hadn't touched her money, but our mother didn't even look at her. Her attention snapped to me, sharp, disappointed, as if she already knew the ending. No questions. No fairness, no pause. Just a silent verdict. Mira cried harder. That was enough. That became the blueprint of my childhood. Mira made a mistake. I paid for it. Mira forgot her assignment. I stayed up doing it. She overslept. I got blamed for moving too slowly in the bathroom. She was upset. I apologized, even when I didn't know what I was apologizing for. And little by little, she learned the art of soft manipulation. Not loud, not cruel, calculated. Gentle enough to keep her halo. Strategic enough to always win. My mother read her like scripture, and the rest of the family followed. I buried myself in chores, in schoolwork, in quiet responsibilities. Tried proving I wasn't the disappointment they quietly believed I was. But guilt grows fast in a house built on imbalance. And once you become the family's scapegoat, that role sticks like ink. It took one summer afternoon to redraw my entire life. Mira posted something vague. Online, a dramatic message about betrayal and losing trust in the person she loved most. She didn't name me. She didn't have to. Relatives reshared it within hours. My phone drowned in messages. What did you do? Fix this. Family first. Not a single person asked for context. Not one asked if it was even true. They believed her tears, her cryptic sentences, her victimhood, because they always had. I realized then that in their story, I wasn't a person anymore. I was a cautionary tale. A villain drawn in blurry ink. So I didn't correct them. I didn't fight. I didn't plead. I packed 2 bags, left town, and slipped into a tiny studio in northern Chicago where no one knew my name or my past. Distance didn't clear anything. It just made their version of me more permanent. Invitations stopped. Numbers changed. Holidays passed without my name being spoken. 14 years dissolved in complete silence. Like I had never existed at all. I was erased so quietly, even the walls of our old house probably forgot the sound of my footsteps. I saw the proof on a day I wasn't prepared for. A friend at work mentioned seeing photos from a family event online, a gathering I wasn't invited to. I scrolled through the pictures in the back, storage room of the bakery cafe, where I washed dishes, laughter frozen in perfect lighting. Everyone dressed in coordinated colors, the way they always did for special occasions. They looked whole, complete without me. In one picture, someone wrote, "My beautiful girls," under a shot of my mother and Mira. I wasn't one of the girls. Hadn't been for years. But seeing it written so casually made something in my chest tighten. Then I saw a caption under a group photo, celebrating 14 years of peace, as if my absence was the serenity they'd been waiting for. As if I had been the storm. I didn't react, didn't cry, didn't throw my phone. I just stood there with the scent of yeast and fresh bread swirling around me, the refrigerator humming steadily behind me. The world steady, while something inside me wasn't. After my shift, I drove home through the sleeping city. When I parked outside my rented kitchen, a space I shared with 3 other nighttime bakers, I just sat there, hands still dusted with flour, silence pressing against my ribs. A strange calm washed over me. Not acceptance. Not defeat. Clarity. They hadn't forgotten me. They had replaced me. And for the first time in my life, that thought didn't tear me apart. It set me free. That was the night everything began. That night shift in the rented kitchen became my sanctuary. Not glamorous, just real. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, industrial mixers rattling, stainless steel counters cold beneath my palms. The kind of quiet where you could hear your own heartbeat over the hum of ovens. I baked because it kept my mind steady, because numbers didn't lie, because flour didn't judge, because dough didn't twist your words into something you never meant. Orders started small. Office staff wanting mid-meeting treats, delivery drivers wanting something warm before their shift ended. I labeled everything perfectly. Wrote down every cost, calculated every hour. No emotion, no guesswork. Just truth, and slowly it paid off. One customer told another, then another. And suddenly my nights were filled with orders stacked across counters, the air thick with caramel and vanilla. Exhaustion didn't hurt the way emotional exhaustion does. This kind of tired felt earned. When a regional cafe chain emailed me asking for weekly supply contracts, I read the email 3 times, under the harsh neon lights, with batter crusting on my apron. I didn't celebrate. Didn't tell anyone. Silence had once been my punishment. Now it was my strategy. That contract changed everything. I upgraded equipment, bought better ovens, hired a part-time assistant, quiet girl, soft nature, never asked questions. And for the first time since childhood, I breathed without waiting for the world to collapse. Then came the house. Not a mansion, just a big quiet home in a quiet Chicago suburb with a clean yard and a kitchen bathed in sunlight. Too big for one person, too peaceful, perfect. When I first stepped inside, my footsteps echoed like I was walking inside my own future. I bought it without hesitation, filled it with nothing but intention. A folding chair, a box of recipes, a sense that this place was mine. Every corner, every squeak, every inch of air. But I needed boundaries. Real concrete ones, not the fragile emotional boundaries people pretend to respect. I created a white folder, thin, neat. Inside it, I placed guest rules, documentation of old accusations, proof of years of emotional imbalance, not revenge, just clarity. Then I wrote one rule. All communication must be through email. No calls. No sudden visits. No emotional manipulation. No rewriting history. If they ever came back, their words would be documented, permanent, not twisted by tears, not reshaped by guilt. Just truth. When the folder was ready, the house seemed to exhale with me. And then she came. I heard the car before I saw it. Slow tires over gravel. The camera flickered. Mira stepped out first. Still confident. Still assuming the world would yield. Behind her, my mother, older, slower. still carrying that air of quiet authority she used like a weapon. They walked toward the house like territory they already owned. I cracked the door open an inch. Mira smiled like she was stepping into a childhood memory, not a stranger's life. "Hey," she said casually. "I'm staying here for a while." Mom didn't finish explaining. I stayed silent, blocking the doorway. My mother stepped forward. "Eva, don't start. Your sister needs help." Help. The word she never used for me. I lifted the white folder and set it on the entry table, where they could see it clearly. Guest rules. Email-only communication. No entry clause. Every boundary they never respected now written in ink. Mira blinked. "You're joking." "Family doesn't need paperwork," my mother snapped. Family also didn't protect me. But I didn't say it. I simply repeated. Calmly. Email only. Mira let out a soft laugh, the kind she used when she expected the world to fall back into place around her. But this house didn't bend. I didn't bend. My mother's voice softened in disbelief. "You're not letting us in?" I didn't explain. Didn't defend. Didn't list 14 years of erasure. I simply closed the door, soft, final. The gravel shifted outside as their confidence crumbled. Inside, something in me settled into place. The following weeks were quiet. Not empty, just peaceful. My business continued to grow. I made friends with neighbors, hosted small potlucks, laughed more than I had in years. One afternoon, my mother emailed, her first real attempt at respecting a boundary. She asked to visit the house once, alone. No assumptions. No suitcases, I agreed. She arrived on time, stepped inside softly, walked through the hallway like she was looking for pieces of the girl she once misunderstood. In the kitchen, she paused, noticing the orderliness, the cleanliness, the life I built without her. We sat for a few minutes. Not much was said, but the silence wasn't sharp anymore. It was honest. When she left, she touched the doorframe gently. Not claiming it, just acknowledging. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel small in her presence. Reports about Mira came through mutual acquaintances. Job changes, small promotions, normal life. For once, her universe didn't orbit around me, and I wasn't built from her shadow. My home filled with warmth. My business blossomed. My life finally felt like mine. The folder stayed on the table, not as a threat, but as a reminder of the day I chose myself. I learned something powerful. Boundaries don't push the right people away. They push the wrong people back where they belong. And if this story touched even one truth inside you, hit like, drop a comment, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that healing isn't about being welcomed back. Sometimes, healing is about never walking back into the fire that burned you.